What was it that made the children of Israel miss out on Canaan? Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Strategic Living Nuggets. In this podcast, we'll be looking at what an attitude of gratitude did in the ministry of Jesus and juxtapose it with what the attitude of ingratitude did in the life and times of Israel on their way to Canaan. In John chapter 6, we see the revelation of Jesus' deity as Jehovah Jireh, expressed by his using a meager portion of a young lad's lunch pack to feed a multitude of men. But this miracle came out of an insignificant portion of meal in comparison to what was eventually achieved. Jesus didn't complain about the insufficient portion of meal that was made available, as many of us would, when confronted with that. But rather, he gave thanks to God, the provider. And that singular attitude of gratitude was what brought the increase. The resources were totally inadequate to meet the need in this instance. But when Jesus blessed the insufficient lunch pack that was made available, it became more than enough to feed 5,000 men with 12 baskets of leftover remaining, to the consternation of the people, that they exclaimed, "Surely he is the prophet." What happened? Jesus didn't look at the insufficiency, but rather he looked to the all-sufficient one to multiply what was made available. But in contrast, how would we react to such insufficiency? We've been accustomed to our senses that once there's lack or insufficiency in any form, our natural response would be to grumble, murmur, or complain. This was exactly how the children of Israel lived and reacted to their needs each time there was a need on their way to Canaan. Our needs and problems are not obstacles to God, for his abundant power transcends any need, no matter the size that we bring before him. But we need to be mindful of his ever-present ability to make available this provision and increase when needed. And this comes through an attitude of gratitude as seen in how Jesus multiplied the 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes to feed 5,000 men. The lesson to take out from this story is this: when in need, we should seek God's direction for something to set our hands on and then trust him to bring increase after we must have expressed our gratitude to him for that which has been made available by his providence. This attitude, if cultivated, will see to the obvious increase in the results of our endeavors. Friends, inside our walk with God is embedded our growth process. The things that happen during this period could pass for our training and pruning, with lack and insufficiency inclusive. The way we react to these incongruities of life shows the level of our growth and maturity. In contrast to what we have seen in the life of Jesus and how he handled insufficiency. What was it that made the children of Israel miss out on Canaan? When you study their sojourn, you will notice that primarily it was this attitude of ingratitude expressed through their incessant complaints and murmurings. This led to much vexation from God Almighty that ultimately led to their missing out on Canaan. You know what? Contemporarily speaking, God will never be angry with us if and when we murmur or complain about lack, wants, and needs in our lives. But what happens is that the natural principles of such negative actions will kick in, with its obvious results being what will not be favorable to us. Rather, an attitude of gratitude will bring us to a position where we become co-creators with God. That young lad who provided the 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes was certainly credited with part of this miracle for offering what he had. When we thank God in the midst of insufficiency, asking him for what to do, he will lead us into seeing what to present for his blessings that will eventually lead to multiplication. Many people have missed their miracles because they never took that first step of faith and used what they had. Friends, let's work on ourselves and get our attitudes right in order to live effectively here in this space apportioned to us. Our attitudes determines our outputs in life. My name is God's Gifted GK, where I'm your host on Strategic Living Sessions. See you in the next video.